Well, it may be hard to believe, but rapid antigen tests were illegal last year. The government didn't really want them in the country. We couldn't import them, even though we saw it as a solution to the no jab, no job for the unvaccinated and not dividing society. And it's only just recently that suddenly the government thinks that rapid antigen tests are a great idea. But it's all around this no jab, no job mandate. And mandates is why the people are on Parliament lawns at the moment, as we saw in the polling in yesterday's episode. But what do the general public think about the job mandate? Let's check it out. So as you can see, we are still coming from COVID Central, my home. Yep, we have some family members who have COVID and others close contacts. So we're in lockdown for 10 days, which is why the different background. We've done some polling through Courier Market Research. Yesterday we talked about the survey of the people who are at Parliament grounds, but we've also done surveys of what the general public thinks about the no jab, no job mandate and whether people could be tested as an alternative, especially for the unvaccinated. And we also asked about motivation for getting vaccinated as well. So let's have a look at the results of this research. Firstly, we said, do you support or oppose an employer being able to sack a staff member purely because the staff member has not had a COVID-19 vaccine? You'll note that the support has dropped from 50% down to 39%, and the opposition has increased from 31 to 38. So it's about level pegging. But then we asked, and the interesting thing about this was that half of those triple vaccinated supported employers being able to sack an unvaccinated staff. That probably makes sense because they're very pro-vaccination, but only a minority of those who were double or single vaccinated supported such a measure of being able to sack an unvaccinated person. But then we asked, do you think employees who do not wish to have a COVID-19 vaccine should be able to keep their job if they instead agree to have a regular rapid antigen COVID test? You can see there 2 in 3 say that yes, that is a solution, and the opposition has decreased to about 1 in 4. And what's interesting is when you break it down into whether they've been vaxxed or not, even those who have been triple vaxxed, and obviously for double and single, the support gets even stronger for unvaccinated people to do regular rapid antigen tests. So there is strong support for rapid antigen tests being an alternative for the unvaccinated. In fact, we would argue that both vaccinated and unvaccinated should be tested to keep the workplace the safest you can. And in fact, that's what a lot of businesses have done. But the interesting thing is that there have been other polls done on this, but what they tend to do is they ask about mandates, or they report on mandates, but they ask about specific frontline at-risk areas like healthcare workers and teachers and the border. And so they say, oh, well, 74% of Kiwis support the workforce vaccine mandates, but it's in certain job sectors. Same with this one from the Herald, which is a poll which has been done by Talbot Mills Research Poll, which found support, but it was for health workers and for teachers. So specific areas. There was even a Horizon poll one last week that suggested that there was strong support for mandates. But once again, it doesn't separate out areas like old folks' homes and the health sector, where you could put up a strong argument for vaccination, as opposed to general ones that we've heard about, like people who work in diggers, who are arborists, who work in jobs with very little public contact. In fact, of course, as we now know, it's affecting kids wanting to play sport. Now, the other thing we did was that we asked about what was the motivation for being vaccinated, and this makes interesting poll results as well. So we said, is it for to protect your personal health? Is it to protect the health of others? Was it due to the vaccine pass so that you could access restaurants, etc.? Or was it due to the vaccine mandate? In other words, you're going to lose your job. Now, you will see there that only 70 to 75% of those vaccinated did so primarily for health reasons. And what that shows is that about a third, 1 in 3 Kiwis of those vaccinated, let me just show you that again, a third, that's those bottom 2 categories of those vaccinated, said vaccine mandate or pass requirements was a large factor in their decision. 14% said that the no jab, no job mandate was the main factor, and 17% said it was a large factor. And so this polling reveals why many people who are double vaccinated are also opposed to the mandates. And that's what we showed with the polling yesterday from Parliament grounds, was that there are 1 in 4 people at that protest at Parliament are actually vaccinated. They're not anti-vax, they're just anti the mandates. Now, I know you're probably saying to yourself, this is very interesting, Bob. This is an interesting survey. I haven't seen this reported in the media. Yeah, well, apart from News Talk ZB, apart from Heather Duplessis-Allen and Barry Soper, the political editor, who did a lot of coverage of it, they thought it was quite a significant poll. And one sentence in the Herald, one sentence, here is a list of the media coverage of this significant poll. Yeah, so I guess that's typical. It doesn't sort of fit the narrative that the mandates are fantastic, that rapid antigen tests shouldn't be made available to the unvaccinated, and yet the general public seems to be in support of it. The pollsters I note here note that 80% of those triple vaccinated said they did so for health reasons, which is understandable, but only half of those double vaccinated did it for health reasons. So what the pollsters suggested was that not all double vaccinated will get a booster shot. Now, the significance of this is that with what we know about the Omicron strain evading both vaccinations and immunity, then transmission and the importance of testing and the likely impact on workplaces throughout New Zealand, you know, we're continuing to call. In fact, as I said, we started this call in November on the government to allow the use of rapid antigen testing to be used in New Zealand. The government suddenly realises that it's a good idea. We think rapid antigen testing for both vaccinated and unvaccinated, it's part of the fight. It's part of the reality of Omicron, but also we still think that it will unite New Zealand. It will bring together both those who are vaccinated, who have chosen to be vaccinated, and those who, through good conscience, have chosen not to be vaccinated. Let's unite New Zealand.